Hello. Good morning. All right. So today we'll start with anti-anxiety drugs. इन लोगों को anxiolytics भी बोलते हैं. Okay. So anxiolytics. One second. Oh, right. Anxiolytics or anti-anxiety drugs. Both of them refer to the same thing. These drugs, see, anxiety itself is a condition in which the patient will be extremely tense and they will be apprehensive, as in they will not, even for normal situations in life, they will overthink everything and they'll go to the point of having a panic attack. Okay. Now, anxiety as such is a normal emotion. Everyone faces anxiety at some point or the other, but when it becomes excessive and disproportionate to the situation, for example, let us suppose you are getting anxiety in between choosing whether to eat a sandwich or to eat idli, and then you are getting a panic attack, that definitely means that you have anxiety. Okay. Normal daily situations should not induce anxiety in a patient until and unless it's a very dire situation and in which you are in a lot of stress, or let's suppose there's a deadline approaching that you have to complete some work, things like that. Assignment submit करना है 2 घंटे ही है, something like that अगर वैसा है, now if you care about that, that is, then it'll it'll induce anxiety. But in normal day-to-day situations, anxiety should not appear. If it does, then you need to use anxiolytics, and those people, they will have that disability and they'll need treatment. Okay. Pharmacological treatment. Now, a lot of drugs that we have already discussed will fall under anxiolytics. First of all, benzodiazepines. So इसको अपन already hypnotics में पढ़े थे. Diazepam, lorazepam, alprazolam, all three of them are very good anxiolytics. Other than that, you can use beta blockers. Now beta blockers आप लोग इसमें पढ़ते हैं. You will have CVS after this chapter. You will have CVS, उसमें पढ़ेंगे अपन what are beta blockers. But essentially what they do is, these are beta 2 blockers. They will act on your heart, and what they will do is, they will essentially calm the patient down. They will decrease the heart rate in a way. They will have other effects as well. But beta blockers, beta adrenergic blockers, जो adrenaline का beta receptor रहता. Now adrenaline has two receptors on which it can act, alpha and beta. This fellow will specifically act on beta 2, which is present on your heart. If you remember, अपन asthma पढ़ रहे जब पढ़े थे, beta 1 is present in your lungs, beta 2 is present in your heart, beta 3 is present in your GIT. Now this fellow will act on beta 2. Now depending on what type of this thing you are giving, that also will affect, matlab selective there or non-selective there. If you're giving non-selective beta blockers, then it will affect all the three of them. It will affect the lungs, GIT and heart. But if you're giving selective beta blockers, then you will get only specific action. आप एंजियोलाइटिक्स में बीटा ब्लॉकर प्रोप्रानोलॉल यूज कर सकते हैं. वन सेकेंड. प्रोप्रानोलॉल. ठीक है. Don't write it as propanolol. Propanolol or yeah, propanol is a very different compound. This is propranolol. Be careful of the spellings. Okay. ड्रग अलग हो जाता है या केमिकली अलग हो जाता. इफ यू राइट प्रोपानॉल, इट विल बिकम अल्कोहल, एंड propanolol is a completely different product, so be careful when you're writing this. Right. Other than this, there are serotonin blockers, 5-HT antagonist. Specifically, there is buspirone. So you didn't come across these drugs. We'll discuss more about serotonin blockers and antidepressants, but I'll give you the general gist of it. Buspirone, uh, it is a zapirone derivative. Essentially, what it happens is, it is a selective serotonin blocker. Specifically, it will block 1A serotonin receptor. So 5-HT1A blocker, a specific type of serotonin को block करता है, partial agonist रहता. And binding of buspirone inhibits release of serotonin. As a result, what will happen is, that patient's anxiety will decrease. They will not get as much stimulus to their neurons, and their anxiety can be inhibited to a certain degree. Buspirone also is a weak D2 antagonist, dopamine antagonist. Weak है बहुत, but it is a dopamine antagonist as well. You can use buspirone in mild anxiety to moderate anxiety. in case of emergency conditions or in case of multiple attacks of anxiety, उसके अंदर या टू सिवियर एंजाइटी, वो कंडीशंस में बुस्पिरॉन उतना काम नहीं आता. माइल्ड टू मॉडरेट एवरीडे यूसेज ऑफ एंजाइटी उसमें चल जाता. ठीक है. And the anxiolytic effect, the anti-anxiety effect, it will take some time to develop. Even yesterday, I forgot to tell you, most antipsychotics as well that we discussed, chlorpromazine or any other antipsychotic, most of them at least, it'll take some time for them to start working. Let us suppose you have a patient who has psychosis, or they have schizophrenia or any other psychiatric problem. When you take them to a doctor and when you start the treatment of that patient, it'll take some time for that drug to work. By time I mean it will take 1 week, 2 weeks, sometimes a month as well. Okay, where you can see significant changes in the patient's behavior. Behavioral changes करना मुश्किल है. It'll take time. Okay, and you need to block several receptors and you need to affect several different neurotransmitters. Even if it is one type of neurotransmitter, there are multiple neurotransmitters present in your body, meaning even if you are targeting, let's suppose, dopamine, there's so many receptors of dopamine and there's so many synapses present in your body, it'll take a long time for you to see significant effect. That is why after you start giving antipsychiatric drugs as well, you will not see immediate change within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, as thought time lagta before you are starting to see any effect on the patient's behavior altogether. And for that behavior to become apparent, now there is a difference between the drug working and the behavior becoming apparent. Meaning, कभी कभी क्या होता है, let us suppose there is a patient who has psychosis, and they have some cognitive they have some degree of cognitive impairment but not complete cognitive impairment, meaning उनको psychosis है but they are still aware of what is going on. So sometimes what happens is, let us suppose they are behaving in a certain way for a long period of time. Okay, let us suppose they are behaving aggressively or they are behaving mildly for a long period of time, or whatever their behavioral pattern is. Even after giving the drugs, let us suppose the patient is seeing that their constitution or their behavior is changing within 1 or 2 weeks, they might not show it for a little while. Okay, it'll take some time for them to completely accept that as well. So it'll take time. You have to be patient with antipsychotics and with anti-anxiety drugs as well. Okay, any drug that can change behavior will take time. So just like any behavioral change, let's suppose you are trying to build a habit, that is a part of behavioral change. For example, let us suppose you are trying to uh, wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning. बहुत मेहनत लगती, करना पड़ता. रोज अगर दोपहर में उठने की आदत है तो 10 बजे उठना थोड़ा मुश्किल होता. But if you know, if you are persistent with it, then I'm sure you can achieve waking up at 10 o'clock. But what happens is it will take time. Change that behavior, it will take time. The same way, when you're giving these drugs, it will take time for that behavior to get adapted into the patient. All right. So bisphenol is a, as I told you, serotonin, selective serotonin partial agonist, and it is inhibiting serotonin release. As a result, anxiety is abated. It also is a weak dopamine D2 antagonist specifically. There are different types of dopamine receptors. It will block D2 specifically. Now, bisphenol is a very rapidly absorbed drug, metabolized by liver. Generally, you give about 5 to 15 mg of the drug once a day or 3 times a day, depending on how much you're giving. It can cause dizziness, it can cause dizziness, nausea. It can cause tachycardia because it is a serotonin and dopamine blocker. It can cause tachycardia. It can cause nervousness, and sometimes it can cause restlessness. Very, very rarely, it can cause restlessness. Okay. As I told you, you can use it in mild to moderate kind of anxiety. Okay, it will also be particularly beneficial when the sedation needs to be avoided. Buspirone does not cause sedation. Some other anti-anxiety drugs, there is a chance, especially with benzodiazepines, there is a chance that it will cause severe sedation. If you don't want to sedate the patient, but you still want to treat their anxiety, then buspirone अच्छा रहता. Buspirone है या Gepirone है, Isapirone है, all of them are similar to buspirone, same class. ठीक है. Serotonin agonist antagonist बोलते हैं लोग को. Now coming to the next class, that is antidepressants. Now before we get into antidepressants, we'll talk something about a little about affective disorders. So ever heard of affective disorders? Ever came across affective disorders, or do you know anyone who has affective disorders, either personally or maybe some friend of a friend or things like that? Ever came across this? अच्छा, आप लोगों को साइकोलॉजी रहता है शायद ना, उसमें अफेक्टिव डिसऑर्डर्स पढ़ाते फर्स्ट ईयर या सेकंड ईयर, आई एम नॉट श्योर, सम टाइम आप लोगों को पढ़ाते शायद ना, साइकोलॉजी रहता, साइकेट्री रहता, साइकेट्री नेक्स्ट ईयर रहता शायद. सेकंड, आर वी रिकॉर्डिंग? जस्ट होल्ड ऑन वन सेकंड. या, all right. I'll guess that you have never come across affective disorders. Mood disorders are a group of disorders that are associated with depression or mania. These mood disorders are called affective disorders. There will be two different type of affective disorders. You have depression and mania. Now these are kind of two different ends of the same spectrum. ठीक है, so similar disorder है, similar as in exactly opposite disorder है, that can jump from one type to other, meaning a patient who has, especially patients who have bipolar disorders. So if bipolar is present, unipolar disorder भी रहता, I'll discuss about that as well. Bipolar disorder में, this is also called manic depressive disorder. The patient will initially have depression or they will have mania for a period of time. Let's suppose for a few weeks or a few months, they will be in a phase of mania, and from there they will go into the phase of depression. So they keep on cycling in between them. That is bipolar disorder. Okay, they will show both the symptoms of a manic person and a depressive person, depressed person. Then यूनिपोलर डिसऑर्डर में ईदर वन ऑफ देम रहता, या तो मेनिया या फिर डिप्रेशन. जनरली इट विल बी डिप्रेशन. एंड यूनिपोलर डिसऑर्डर्स, दिस कैन बी ईदर, जनरली डिप्रेशन रहता ना, इट कैन बी टू डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ डिप्रेशन. यू कैन ईदर हैव रिएक्टिव डिप्रेशन और देयर कैन बी एंडोजेनस डिप्रेशन. Reactive depression is due to stress, generally in reaction to a certain circumstance that the patient is facing, a circumstance in life, circumstance at work, whatever it might be. Because of that, it is causing depression in the patient. Endogenous depression will be because of abnormality in this thing, monoamines, generally abnormality in chemical levels in your brain, specifically monoamines. Monoamines क्या है? Monoamines are your special neurotransmitters, noradrenaline and serotonin. 5-HT3, ये दोनों को मोनोमीन्स बोलते हैं. ठीक है, their activity in the CNS uh, will be very low, generally because of deficiency of noradrenaline and serotonin. As a result, it can cause endogenous type of depression, or these will be the endogenous cause of depression. When a patient has low amounts of noradrenaline or serotonin, वो केसेस में पेशेंट को एंडोजेनस डिप्रेशन हो सकता. सो देयर टू टाइप्स ऑफ डिप्रेशन, रिएक्टिव या एंडोजेनस. बाइपोलर डिसऑर्डर में जनरली इट विल बी एंडोजेनस टाइप. ठीक है, जो डिप्रेशन होता, it mostly is the endogenous time. Sometimes it can be reactive type as well, but generally patients who have bipolar, they'll not be able to distinguish between, or at least not very well be able to distinguish between what is a life threatening situation, or what is a stressful situation, and what is not. Even a normal day-to-day situation might be very threatening to them. You never know how they respond. Now, the symptoms of depression. So there is a difference between being simply sad and having depression. Okay. Now everyone will feel sad at one point or the other. Okay, because of whatever reason, they might feel sad. That is fine. But if that sadness is accompanied by misery or hopelessness, suicidal thoughts, yeah, where sometimes these manifestations will become physical as well. That patient will have sleep disturbances. They will have fatigue. They might gain weight or they might lose weight as well. Both can occur. Apathy can occur, wherein they do not care about anything, essentially. Okay? They become indifferent completely. Loss of appetite, loss of libido. It can be gain in appetite as well sometimes. Loss of libido हो सकता. Most of the times loss of libido होता rather than gain in libido. So those are some biological symptoms that are associated with depression. So other than emotional symptoms, which are sadness, misery, hopelessness, and suicidal thoughts, the patient will show biological symptoms as well: fatigue, apathy, loss of libido, loss of appetite, and sleep disturbances. So that is a big difference between just being sad in general and having depression, and this will generally go on for a longer period of time. So think of it this way: let us suppose one day, because of whatever incident, you became sad, whatever जो भी हुआ आपकी लाइफ में, ठीक है, generally within a few days, within a few hours itself, or else within a few days now, depending on the kind of incident that occurred and the kind of impact that it has on your psyche, you will generally get cheered up, either by friends or by pets or by your parents or whatever it is, ठीक है, by simply interacting with people, or it might be whatever whatever might be the trigger to you that makes you happy. Maybe some eating something very nice makes you happy, or maybe you're playing video games that is making you happy. Whatever makes you happy, okay. Depressive patients who, even if they do activities that were pleasurable to them initially before they had depression, it will not really excite them and it will not really make them happy. So even being with a person who they love, let's suppose, it will not really affect them. So they will be depressed still. They might stay in the company, but they will still be depressed. Mania is the opposite. Mania में is the क्या होता है, the patient's mood is extremely elevated to the point that they will become over enthusiastic, ठीक है. They might become over confident, they might become arrogant, cocky, and to an extent that they will be very very irritated, and they will be very aggressive. Manic patients में aggressive aggression बहुत common है. So they might harm themselves and they might harm others as well. There is a chance when they become extremely aggressive. That can happen in depression as well, but it is not due to aggression. Depression में aggression की वजह से they will not harm themselves. Ge- Generally because of suicidal thoughts they'll harm themselves rather than aggression. Mania में they might not have suicidal thoughts, but they will be so aggressive that they can cause harm to themselves or the people around them, okay, intentionally or unintentionally. Now coming to the first type of drugs, that is antidepressants. So antidepressants में जो है, now depression, I told you, is either reactive or endogenous, right? Now reactive depression may, one of the main things that you can do is get out of that stressful situation, okay. So work related stress है या whatever it is, one of the best ways is to manage that stress by maybe inculcating a habit that relieves your stress. So it might be whatever, maybe going out for a walk after coming from work, or maybe you are doing some yoga, or maybe you're meditating for a while, you're reading a book, you're playing some games, whatever relaxes your mind, okay. Nothing that puts you at tension. For example, if you're going out for a walk and that is causing you tension, imagine there are a lot of dogs who are barking at you, that in itself is causing you more stress, then that will not be a good activity for you to do. Depends on each and everyone's perception and things like that. So whatever relaxes you, that is generally prescribed for people who have reactive depression. उनके अंदर एंटी डिप्रेसेंट्स देना इज नॉट रियली वेरी गुड, ठीक है, बिकॉज दे डू नॉट हैव अ बायोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम, दे हैव अ लाइफ प्रॉब्लम इन जनरल. बट पेशेंट्स हु हैव एंडोजेनस डिप्रेशन, जिनके अंदर सेरोटोनिन एंड नॉरएड्रेनालिन लेवल्स कम हैं, उनके अंदर आप ड्रग्स देना पड़ता, definitely indicated है उनके अंदर. So the first class of drugs that will fall under antidepressants are TCS, tricyclic antidepressants. TCA, tricyclic antidepressant बोलते हैं इसको. These drugs will block reuptake of monoamines. They will block reuptake of noradrenaline and serotonin. Now, what is reuptake? Acha, when we studied about acetylcholine and when I told you about cholinergic drugs, I told you that acetylcholine is formed by choline, and it essentially, let us suppose this is the presynaptic neuron, this is the synapse. Okay, I'll just erase that just so that you know what is the synapse. And let us suppose this is the dendrite of the next neuron with, sorry, the soma of the next neuron with dendrites present on it. Please excuse the horrible diagram. एंड यहाँ पर एक्सॉन हिलॉक है, एंड यहाँ पर कंटिन्यू हो रहा द नेक्स्ट न्यूरॉन, ठीक है. पोस्ट सिनेप्टिक न्यूरॉन, सो नंबर 2, pre synaptic neuron number 1. What happens is whenever an action potential appears here. It will stimulate one of the vesicles present here. The let us suppose I draw the this thing. थोड़ा बड़ा कर देंगे. हाँ. Let us suppose these dots represent different neurotransmitters that are present in that neuron. Imagine that is a serotonergic neuron, meaning it has serotonin as its main neurotransmitter. Okay? It will communicate with each other through using serotonin. Now, ये serotonergic neuron क्या होता? Whenever there is stimulus, this fellow will come here. It will get released, and essentially what will happen is serotonin molecules are released in the synapse. At the level of your dendrite, which is present here, different receptors are present. यहाँ पर सोमा पे रहते, थोड़े dendrite level पे रहते. ठीक है? There are multiple receptors here. The job of this serotonin is to reach that position. It will go here, it will attach here, and it will induce a function. In that, it will cause a few, essentially it will cause signal transduction. It will move the signal forward. ठीक है? जो signal presynaptic neuron से आ रहा, वो signal को आगे बढ़ा देते. Let's suppose this signal indicated move your hand. So that signal is transferred to the neuron number 2. Continue the information, move your hand, make the person move their hand. Okay? Let's suppose that is the signal. It can be any signal. Okay, I'm just giving you an example here. Don't write that in exam. ये neuron ऐसा है and move your hand बोल रहा होने बोल के. Now, whenever this molecule in this scenario, these molecules are serotonin, right? 5-HT3. What happens is, NO एक बार once it has given its signal, this fella comes back into the synapse. So let me use a different color for this. Let us suppose it is coming back into the synapse. The green arrow represents it going to do its function, attaching to the receptor and inducing a reaction or causing signal transduction, transducing the signal, आगे बढ़ा रहा signal. Blue represents it getting out of that receptor after it has signaled the receptor. ठीक है? So in the previous time when I explained this to you, I told you that most of the times what happens is these neurotransmitters, especially acetylcholine, that will get degenerated using acetylcholinesterase. One enzyme called acetylcholinesterase will break down acetylcholine into choline and acetic acid, and that choline goes back into. So let us suppose this fellow is being split into two. You have one special molecule here. Let us suppose ये molecule है. This molecule is going back, getting absorbed, and this molecule has some other function. Let us suppose two molecules are being formed. Now, that does not occur with all monoamines, or let me put it this way. Serotonin has two fates. It can either be broken down, or it will either stay in that synapse as is for a period of time. I'll repeat once again. Once that serotonin molecule has induced a function in the receptor, to the postsynaptic neuron के receptor को attach होके, it has induced a function, it has transduced the signal. It will detach from the receptor and it is just chilling around in the synapse. In that period of time, there are two fates or two things that can happen to the serotonin molecule. One fate is it will get broken down into different molecules, and one of the molecule will be reabsorbed back into your this thing. It can be reabsorbed back into your neuron. Sometimes, without breaking down, those serotonin molecules can get reabsorbed directly inside. Sometimes what happens is directly अंदर चले जाते. ठीक है? So there are two fates that can occur. They can either get broken down, or sometimes serotonin can directly go inside. ठीक है? In either of these situations, what is happening? Serotonin levels in your synapse are decreasing. Correct? Serotonin is being stimulated in step 1. Okay? Or let me put it this way. अपन ABCD के use करेंगे because there is already synapse 1 and synapse 2. Let us suppose this is step A. First of all, action potential generation, and action potential is coming to the axon terminal. Step 2 or step B, this is being stimulated, the vesicle. Step C, these neurotransmitters are being released out. They are exocytosing out of the neuron or the presynaptic neuron. Presynaptic, postsynaptic, before synapse, after synapse. Step 4 or step D, it is attaching to the receptor, causing signal transduction, moving the message forward, and generating a graded potential यहाँ पर. Now, whether or not that graded potential becomes an action potential is a different story, and this neurotransmitter is not concerned with that. Once it has performed its function, this neurotransmitter gets out of the receptor. Let us suppose this is step E. Now, here what can happen is either step F can happen or step G can happen. Okay? Meaning it can either get broken down into different components or it can directly be reabsorbed into the presynaptic neuron. In either of these cases, whether it is G or F, what is happening is the amount of serotonin in your synapse is decreasing. यहाँ पर आप क्या कर रहे हैं, ट्राइसाइक्लिक एंटी डिप्रेसेंट्स जब देते, it will block the reuptake of those amines. It will block the reuptake means ये step block हो जा रहा, step G is being blocked, so no step G occurs. As a result, what will happen? More and more molecules of serotonin will stay in your synapse, right? Why is this advantageous, or why do you want to do this? These molecules of serotonin can, as they are venturing out and they are staying in synapse, they will at one point or the other come across this receptor, empty receptor, and they will attach to that receptor, causing stimulation again. Meaning आप एक ही neurotransmitter से multiple functions ले रहे हैं, so it is essentially doing double the work. If you even remember acetylcholine, when we discussed about cholinergic drugs, cholinesterase inhibitors क्या करते हैं? They will increase the relative concentration of acetylcholine in the synapse. Relative, not absolute. They're not causing more acetylcholine to come into the synapse. Or even in this scenario, TCS are not causing more serotonin to come into the synapse. They are simply stopping their reabsorption. As a result, what will happen is those molecules are able to stimulate new and more number of receptors. So as a result, what will happen is यहाँ पर एक stimulation मिल रहा, number one, यहाँ पर भी एक stimulation मिल रहा, number two, let's suppose, because it is staying in the synapse for a longer period of time. And if it stays long enough, who knows, it might even give a third stimulus. But essentially what is happening is from one neurotransmitter, instead of getting 100% function, you are either getting 200% or 300% if you are very lucky. So double or triple function is coming from that same neurotransmitter. Okay? Hence the action on those receptors are prolonged. Okay? Instead of getting absorbed into the presynaptic terminal or presynaptic neuron, their action is prolonged on the receptor, and they will potentiate amine neurotransmission in the CNS. As a result, what will happen is more and more graded potentials are created from that same molecule of neurotransmitter. That is how TCS work. समझ में आया? Your SSRIs will also work the same way. Reuptake को block कर रहे हैं आप. This process where a neurotransmitter is being taken back into the presynaptic neuron is called reuptake. Antidepressants, generally TCS or SSRIs, will work by blocking this reuptake, the process of reuptake. It will not let that neurotransmitter go back into the presynaptic neuron, and it is making the presynaptic, the synapse more rich with the neuron or with the neurotransmitter. Sorry. I hope you understood this. If you didn't understand, if you want me to repeat anything, any specific step, please feel free to ask. Because पूरा antidepressants ऐसा ही रहता, almost पूरा.
सर ये स्टेप नहीं समझ में आया।
क्या समझ में नहीं आया?
सर डी के
डी
बाद,
से
डी
ये
स्टेप के बाद,
डी के बाद समझ में नहीं आया ना? अरे अच्छा ठीक है. So in step D, that neurotransmitter was reaching the receptor and attaching and causing a signal, right? So it is doing its normal function. Till D, it was normal function. Neurotransmitter gets stimulated by a action potential, it will get released, it will go to the receptor of that next neuron and it will stimulate the neuron. ठीक है, वहां तक तो आपको समझ में आ गया. यहाँ this is normal. That neurotransmitter now will have two fates. Two things can happen to those neurotransmitters. अब एक बार receptor को attach कर दिए, let us suppose आप एक think of it this way. Imagine you are going to a college. Okay, imagine you are coming to your own college every day morning and you are opening the door of different rooms. Imagine you are opening your own dorm rooms, example. Okay, yeah, even after college you are going to your dorm and you are opening different locks in your dorm. Let's suppose you are opening on floor number 2, you are opening room number 1, room number 2, room number 3, room number 4. Ab, there are different people who are doing that. Let's suppose there are four people. Adnan hai, Rahifuddin hai, Alan hai, and Sai Kumar. Example. ठीक है? These four people are going and opening their own individual rooms. ठीक है? And what is happening is later on those think of graded potential as you going into the room and sitting down. Example. Okay. The example for graded potential is that you are entering into the room and sitting down in the room or doing whatever you want to in that room. Here what I am telling is this neurotransmitter, you are making sure that you are giving the same key to that receptor, and what it does is instead of opening just one room, it is opening two or three rooms. One same fellow is opening two or three rooms. So हो रहा क्या, different people can go in. As in here in this example, it means that by opening all of those rooms multiple times, you are generating as many graded potentials. मतलब मैं एक ही चाबी से तीन rooms open कर रहा हूँ ना. In this scenario, that key is the neurotransmitter. Those doors are receptors. Means every time that receptor is going and attaching to a lock and it is opening that lock, a graded potential is generated. So instead of one key working only for one lock, there is one key working for two or three locks, meaning it is opening two or three locks. As a result, one neurotransmitter is generating potential, graded potential in two or three receptors. तो यहाँ पर आपकी efficiency बढ़ जाती ना. See, in depression, you already know that the patient has less amount of neurotransmitters. You will try to give supplementation of neurotransmitter, but even if it will take a long time. ठीक है? आप यहाँ पर क्या कर सकते हैं, instead of simply giving excessive amount of neurotransmitter externally, you can make those same neurotransmitters that are present in your body to work more. A single neurotransmitter is working two or three times more than it normally does. As a result, what will happen is two or three receptors are being stimulated by that same neurotransmitter instead of stimulating only one receptor. यहाँ तक समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Now, how am I achieving this function? So I told you specifically TCS, they will stop reuptake. Now imagine reuptake in this scenario. Imagine Sai Kumar is going to a room. There are 4 or 5 people with him of the same room. He is opening the key of that lock and he's going away. He's not entering that room. Let us suppose he just opens that room and he goes away. Okay? Or he enters the room. Let's suppose he enters the room and he's not opening any other lock. Here what I'm doing is I'm not letting that fellow go inside his room. I'm making sure that he opens two or three rooms before he goes into his own room. Okay? How I am doing that is यहाँ पर in this scenario, that neurotransmitter is not being broken down. It does not get rest. Okay? Or at least it will not get rest as soon. It will not be reuptaken by the presynaptic neuron, meaning this neurotransmitter will not be taken back into the neuron here, and it's with another step. We'll not discuss that step for now because that is a different step altogether. But essentially another fate that can occur to your neurotransmitter is that can get broken down. I'm not controlling the breakage of neurotransmitter, but I'm controlling the reuptake of neurotransmitter. Instead of directly getting absorbed back into the presynaptic neuron, I'm making sure that before it gets reabsorbed, that fellow will stimulate two or three receptors instead of stimulating one receptor. As a result, instead of producing only one graded potential यहाँ पर, it will generate multiple graded potentials. If I have enough graded potential, I can generate a threshold potential and action potential will be generated. That is the idea. एक neurotransmitter से you are taking 2 or 3 times more function instead of one time function. That is the idea behind TCS. अभी समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Anyone, any doubts? Okay, ठीक है, एक काम करेंगे, we'll stop it here. We'll continue tomorrow. Actually,